Hello,
Hey everyone,
we're back.
we're back with another stream. Another,
What will 3DQ automate this week?
yeah, what?
We're
What are we automating now? Well,
automating more than just printers, it seems.
we're automating marketing for the stuff that comes out of your printers.
Automating marketing. How fun is marketing?
Not fun.
It's not my favorite thing.
It's not,
It's a necessary thing, but we're engineers, right?
we're
We
not good
don't
at it.
love marketing.
So we've come up with a very engineering solution to marketing, and hopefully, you guys will find it as useful as we do. Um, so yeah, we're going to talk about a new time-lapse feature coming up in Quinly, and we're also going to be talking about how you can use time lapses of your prints to build community engagement, create ads, and actually use it for quality control as well.
Yeah, marketing is hard, but when you have like content that you can actually put on social media without having to create it on purpose and spend hours setting up a whole time lapse and stuff, it makes your life easier.
Yeah, I would say the content creation part, like generating media, is the most like takes up the most amount of time and is just the most painful thing because I'd rather be running prints than like setting up time lapses and
Yeah,
you know.
like we've had to do a lot of time lapses for 3DQ because like showing how Quinly works. Like Quinly works in the order of hours, not minutes or seconds. So you actually have to show time lapse footage for it to get across to people. And we've like I've done a bunch of time lapses. Mateo's done a bunch of time lapses, and it takes so much time to set up a time lapse. Like we're thinking, hey, but, like we need to automate this for ourselves, and we might as well also automate it for everyone else as well. Build it into Quinly.
Yeah, and I'd say pretty much oh, let's say hi to Kevin.
Hello, Kevin.
Hello, Kevin. How did the afternoon review go? It went good. We have a lot of things to take away from that review, I think. um, Particularly when it comes to making the instructions more clear or potentially emphasizing certain parts of the instructions. But it was good. It's a pretty long stream, but there's like a lot of things that we learned from it.
Yeah. And I mean the fact that he had to also stream during the whole thing,
Yeah,
like you can't read every single little detail in the thing, put on a show and talk to chat and everything. Yeah.
yeah.
He did a good job.
For those who don't know, we're talking about the stream that Thomas and Latterer did earlier today. So after this stream, not during this stream, you should check
Stick
it out
around.
and see how he did. Yeah, it was pretty interesting. It's always cool to see how other people like actually, because we don't get to see firsthand when people set up their Quinly systems. So, being able to watch someone do it in real time actually, uh, it's very interesting.
It's actually like the first unboxing that I've seen of Quinly. Like it's been
Yeah, like
2 years
live.
or something.
Yeah.
And I haven't actually seen someone get their first impressions of a kit opening it right away.
Yeah, I think on our Prusa stream we did it in like 20 minutes because we built all the parts. So it was interesting seeing or seeing Thomas like looking at the instructions for the first time and where like how he figured out how to put it together was pretty interesting.
Yeah, and he had some like little sidetrack parts too where he went and like measured stuff and it's like, oh, this is how this fits together and like, oh, what if they did it this way? So, it didn't actually take him 3 hours to set up a Quinly, but um, you know,
It's good because
he
it's so
investigated.
granular.
Yeah, it's a granular
Yeah.
analysis, and then he set it up. But he also talked about different sections, put his own opinions on it and stuff like that. It was good.
Yeah, I think he said at the end he was going to do a comparison video, so that's going to be really interesting to see. I want to see like yeah, a comparison between that and belt printers and other things. Um, yeah.
Cool. So,
So,
what do we have for these wonderful people on stream today?
um, right. So we're going to talk about, in general, how you can use time lapses to do kind of automated content generation and what, what that, how you can use time lapses for advertising, for customer engagement, and also just for quality control purposes. And then we'll also go over how we plan to implement time lapses in Quinly. And we'll also talk about setting up your printer and your time lapses so that they actually look good. Because I know that there are a lot of time lapses online that are taken on like a high cam in really bad lighting and you can barely
Yeah.
see what's going on. And like those types of time lapses are not useful for generating good content that you can use in your marketing material.
Yeah, like
So
if you've seen time lapses on YouTube or Instagram or whatever, TikTok, you'll see that they're super nice, super smooth, really good lighting, and you wouldn't set it up the same way as if you just wanted to monitor your print remotely or something like that.
yeah, I think we'll look at a couple of them and then I'll also walk through like a very basic lighting setup that you can use. It's super easy to copy and takes like 5 seconds to set up. So I'll show that later in the stream.
Hello 3D by JB, welcome.
Nice to see you. So what should we show first? I guess we've got the Quinly mock-up. We can show what it'll look like. Or
Well, let's talk about why, like let's show some time lapses first, and then show how we plan to do it with Quinly.
okay, how do you want to set? Do you want to take it?
Yeah, sure, I'll take over the mouse. Because we have a whole bunch of like time lapses that we've done over the years.
Yeah, we'll talk about
Um,
what's good and what's not so good,
yeah,
and what we've learned, like having taken so many of them.
yeah, this works.
Yeah, that looks good. Sweet.
And I guess you can take it
Yeah,
from
I'll do this.
there. Yeah, so we've got other the 7 time lapses. Very
What
different.
what time period would you say these were taken over?
I think the earliest one I think is the Prussia time lapse that was probably July last year, so it's about a year old.
Okay, so we have
And
1 year of experience.
yeah, that's kind of when we started doing time lapses.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, and we have one from Christmas. We have one from Easter, and a couple ones just throughout for other things.
so yeah, I think we'll keep coming back to these, especially when we talk about like how to set up your photography.
Yeah,
But here's like kind of where we started.
this is our very like one of our very first time lapses.
Not super great, I would say. It's pretty choppy. Um, and yeah, a lot of the action gets missed. And we'll talk about what we're doing for that. But yeah, it shows one of the Quinly kits being printed. And then later down the road, you know, we did which one? This one? The Easter eggs one?
Well, that was pretty recent actually.
That's more recent.
Try the Christmas time lapse because that was in December this year.
Sure.
And we have 2 printers now and like a bin full of parts slowly filling up. And these were actually little coronaviruses and Santa hats.
Yeah. We're printing for a customer.
Yeah,
Like a
but this is actually one of the use cases for time lapses. So we were printing parts for a customer, and we didn't actually send them this time lapse. But if you're printing parts for a customer, like say you run a print service, and someone's asked you to print this STL file for them, they want like 100 copies, you can show them the time lapse of the parts printing, and say, hey, it's going, check it out,
mhm.
and maybe they want to see that, maybe they want to post it on their site too. So we're like when people see your printers printing parts, maybe that's a way to spread your brand around to other communities too.
Yeah, like you could use it as ads for the product you're printing, and then you can also send this to the customer whose product it is. Like imagine, when you printed someone's part, you could automatically send them a time lapse when it's ready to ship. Because I think if you look at like TikTok and Instagram, if you just look at 3D printing in general, all the top videos are going to be cool looking time lapses, and that gets a lot of engagement with people who might not be familiar with 3D printing because everyone likes to see how things are made, and especially if it's you're printing, you're doing unique or bespoke products, and they get to see their exact product being made. That can get people very excited. In fact, we do a lot of time lapses on our side for not running a print service, but when people contact us and ask us, will this part work with Quinly automation, we get them to send us G codes, and then they get to see their parts printed on Quinly, and it does a lot for, building customer confidence.
Yeah, that's actually something we started doing recently, and it's been working out pretty well.
Yeah,
Um, people have all different kinds of parts, and they have no idea if it's gonna fall off the vapor bed. I mean, spoiler alert, everything does, but if you're unfamiliar with a system, you don't want to just risk it and find out that this thing that you bought isn't actually going to work for you. So uh, it is, yeah, a good way to build confidence in a product before buying it.
yeah. So 3D by JB says, and lots of dragons.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think the dragon time lapses were like ridiculously popular, and you'll also see the time lapses will be interspersed with other footage, usually cell phone footage, but it'll show sometimes a finished product, and then it'll show how it was made. And one of the most successful shows on Discovery was How It's Made, and I think there are actually like four variations of how it's made. So clearly
How they
people,
do it?
yeah, how they
It's
do it.
Mega factories. I've seen all of them. Like
Mighty Machines, do you remember that?
Mighty Machines. That was like crazy old, right?
Yeah, I used to rent those from the library.
Wow. Yes, I actually think I saw those too.
Yeah,
It's like, how do garbage trucks work? I don't know. Let's find out.
yeah. How does metal get recycled?
Yeah.
Everyone wants to see how stuff is done and how stuff is made. So it can be, really powerful content to put out there.
Because yeah, people might not know. Like if you make like a custom product, I don't know what you guys make, but if you make a custom product, people might just think, oh yeah, this guy buys it from China, puts his name on it, and sells it. But if you can show that you're actually printing it and you're putting in the work to make it, um, then that shows that hey, this is actually like a handmade product. This is, you know, some guy's just trying to, make a small business and he's doing all the work here. It's
Yeah.
not just,
Made
you
in the
know,
US, and like the person you're talking to is a person who can also make design changes based on your feedback. Like that's
yeah,
really valuable. And all of that can be captured in a simple time lapse, especially if it's a time lapse of their part being printed. So we'll talk about how we plan to automate even that kind of thing through Quinly. Um, but why don't we look at one of the more recent time lapses that we did, just to see, like, they get slightly.
So the Lowellsbot one was actually earlier. This was like our take one of the Easter egg time lapse.
Okay.
And it's still like a step up from, I think, the Prusa time lapse, but it's not perfect. Um,
But okay,
if we get our
if
internet working
if
properly.
Google Drive actually works, yeah.
Um, but this one was good because we had like a queue of 12 different prints running overnight. I think this was like 24 hours worth of printing.
Yeah. So the cool thing about, let me make sure there's no background noise.
The
It's muted, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the Lowellsbot thing is muted.
So you
This
can
is
see it's like one of the things that I think makes time lapses really interesting to watch is if there is something in the background as well. So here you can see like the window during the day, cars rushing by, and the shadows moving.
You can go through a full day-night cycle actually.
Yeah,
So that's
this
pretty
is 24 hours.
interesting.
And then this was the more recent one.
Yeah, this is like the finished video that we did.
Okay,
We need to post this. Like it's kind of late because it's not Easter, but
that's still cool.
yeah, this is the one where we sort of took a time lapse and then integrated it with like other um what is it called? Like other clips to make it like a full video.
And
So
it's very simple. It's all just screen recordings and time lapses. And under normal circumstances, time lapses are like the hardest thing to set up. So we'll show you how to set up the lighting so it looks good, and then a couple tips for making for actually like just making the time lapse itself look pretty good as well.
yeah, and actually one of the things that we were planning on doing with Quinly is adding like this time lapse, so it's actually a seamless time lapse, like a smooth time lapse, like kind of how you're used to seeing some of the clips on YouTube and stuff have like a print just growing out of thin air. So that'll be built into Quinly too. We don't have any of these yet as this, but that's like a planned feature for Quinly,
Yeah.
having
Well,
smooth time lapses.
we can show the castle one, the castle fail. because that'd be pretty representative, right?
Oh yeah, if you do what is it called?
Fantasy Castle.
If you do failed, yeah, the first one, that's just a good one.
This one didn't fail.
It didn't fail, yeah. It's just like
So
yeah,
like something like this is definitely more geared towards being able to market it.
yeah, because then it doesn't have like the shakiness of the
Yeah.
printer moving all around. And it's got the cool animation of like the nozzle doing the thing, which I really like.
So should we talk about how we're planning to automate this?
How are we planning to automate time lapses? It's a good question. Um, sure, yeah, let's do it.
Okay,
This is what you've all been waiting for.
this is what people have been waiting for. Yeah.
Are they seeing? They make, I guess they probably
Yeah,
are.
they should be seeing it. Yeah.
Cool.
Right. So this is we've been reworking the queue page quite a bit lately. And the idea is that you can just set seamless time lapses in directly in the queue page, um, like when you're queuing your files. So, you select a whole ton of files and you can just quickly check off which ones you want to have time lapses, which ones you don't. And then there are a couple of options, like there's this fast versus seamless. So one of the things where like the nozzle, if the nozzle moves off to the side, like in this castle print, or like the nozzle moves to the middle for the photo, that can add print time. So if you don't want to do that, you can select the fast option, or if you do want to do something cool like this, you can select seamless. And then you can also record the actual removal and take a snapshot of the final part as well. So if you don't want to send your customer an entire video, for example, you could just have it take a photo of the final part. Or if you want to show them the whole process or look at the whole process yourself in case you want to do quality control, you can also record the removal in real time. So like, let's say you were printing and for some reason something got stuck at some point, during reset or something, you would be able to have like a real time recording of the part being removed and you can see what's going wrong. The other thing with having time lapses enabled for each part is you can also like go back through your history. If a part wasn't good, you can see where it went wrong.
Yeah, so that's going to be interesting. The time lapse, it'll be like a time lapse, and then it'll switch to like a full time, like a real time recording of the part getting pushed off, and then it'll go back into time lapse mode.
Yeah.
And so it'll kind of, if you're printing like 100 parts, you could actually get like a full, yeah, just a full history of how all those parts were printed, in a way that also probably looks good, rather
Yeah.
than just having like a time lapse set to like take a photo every 30 seconds.
Yeah, and you'll get like a really, really cool output video of similar to this, similar to this lull spot one, basically, where except in between each egg, you would actually see the egg coming off in real time as well. Because that's what we found was one of the most tricky parts of recording any of these time lapses was catching the release um, in real time because you would have to have someone there basically.
Yeah, like what we were doing is just inserting a pause at the end of the G code, and then still having to wait for the bed to cool down, and then film the release.
Yeah, like film, unpause it, and then like if it was cooled down, it would start releasing.
Yeah.
Or doing the wipe cycle. So that's now been automated, and that's gonna look really cool because it's like if you show, if you market this or show to your customers, they see their parts being made on this like tiny factory. Um, yeah, and everyone likes like factory tours.
Yeah, we also have this like blurry effect, I guess, on the printer head, which makes it look a little smoother. At least when you're viewing it as a video, if you pause, then it doesn't look smooth, usually.
Like this. Yeah, and the reason for that is it just like makes the motion a bit more continuous. Because if you, and I will talk about this during the like actual lighting setup, but if you're not doing something like where the nozzle is stationary whenever it's printing and you want to do this, so this would be considered the fast mode because the printer is not doing anything special when the photos are being taken. Um, you want to do a longer exposure because that kind of makes the movement look a bit more continuous than if you don't do it, you end up with this like really choppy footage like this, which doesn't look super great.
Yeah, it looks almost like a stop motion animation.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
not done in a good way.
Yeah, right. So this obviously looks much better. Um, yeah, and we want these to look as best as they can so that you can go straight, basically straight out of the software into posting on, um, your social media.
Yeah, we also have the time lapses of the print farm, uh,
Oh yeah.
which I think I really like. Just as an example of how Quinly actually is intended to be used, like check it out. All these printers are just printing parts. You don't, no one's touching them. They're just pumping out parts.
Hmm. But it'd be
People,
way cooler if it was real time for every part removal, which now it will be
yeah,
when we run the actual time lapses through Quinly.
it'd be sick to be able to like get a grid of all your printers and then combine them all into one video.
One video, that'd
Yeah,
be really cool.
so you could just have, like your security cam dashboard of like all your printers, but then also a recording of all your printers.
Kevin's asking, how do you do some time lapses just show the print without the print head moving? What it actually does is it inserts some G code that moves the print head into a certain spot and then takes a photo there and then it keeps printing and then it goes back to that spot, takes another photo and then keeps printing. And that can add a considerable amount of print time. So that's why we give you the option to, you know, do a time lapse for aesthetics or do a time lapse for quick printing.
Or print quality too, like that.
Yeah.
When the nozzle moves out of the way, it's doing a retraction, big long travel move, waiting, a big long travel move, and back. So that's gonna maybe cause like a string or ooze or some filament's gonna get lost. There's gonna be like a zip.
Yeah.
So that there can be small little print inconsistencies because of it. Usually you can tune those away to be like negligible, but um, if you just need perfect quality parts, then you just want to you don't want to be doing seamless.
Hmm.
Um, or if you're doing like a vase mode print where you need a continuous print path, you don't want to be doing seamless for that either.
Yeah. Yep. Um, so I think maybe we should go and look at some popular maybe TikToks and talk about what they've done right,
Yeah.
and then go into how you can set up a time lapse to look as good as some of these.
Browse TikTok with Mateo and Steven.
Oh no. Uh, well,
It sounds a lot worse than it is, don't
yeah,
worry.
it does. It's a scary website.
So what are we doing? Just gonna search like 3D printing and then
Yeah.
see what comes up. Oh hey, it's a dragon.
Yeah. Okay, let me switch over to this page. All right.
So a good few of these TikToks are time lapses of some sort, it seems.
Yeah. So here's a
The first
dragon.
one that came out.
It's kind of what I think it failed actually. Oh no, it's good. It's good. So the first one, it was, they catch your attention with like a really quick time lapse and then they show off the product. This is not a time lapse. This is actually real time.
That looks like a time
It
lapse.
does look
That's
like a
so
time
fast.
lapse. But yeah, like even this one, they've got like time lapse, 2 seconds of time lapse that grabs people attention, and then the rest is just showing off the product.
And actually, in that video, it said step 4 is market, and
Yeah.
that's what we're gonna automate. So good.
So what we're planning to do in Quinly, once the time lapses are taken and you have like a library of past prints and time lapses, is to make it really easy to just post it right to your account or download the file so that you can post it right into your uh, like social media accounts. So we're looking at, can you do it direct to Instagram and direct to TikTok? I think you can do, and then obviously you can download the videos and um, use it for your store or use it for ads. Um, and what's really interesting about this is you can use it for doing like split testing for ads. So um, if you're just printing stuff and you have all of these time lapses, you can start posting them uh, to your social media. And then if a particular thing you printed starts getting really popular, well, then okay, you know, this might be something you would want to maybe boost this post and start advertising that you sell this item in your shop. And beyond that, what you can start doing is trying to print in different colors. And again, you'd have these time lapses already made for you, and you can share out the different colors and see how different colors might perform, and that could inform what are the most popular colors for this new product you're looking to provide. um, that kind of thing usually takes a lot of work, because just imagine having to set everything up to get all of those videos and all of those time lapses. Now it's like if you printed something interesting on your printer, you'll with a click of a button, you'll have this time lapse that you can just post, um, to your media. And if it happens to do well, you're already set on Quinly to print 100 of them and start selling them in your store.
Well, it's like not much harder than sending a print in Quinly,
Yeah.
right? So it's already pretty easy to send a print in Quinly. So it's just one, two more clicks, and then now you have the time lapse. And you can probably already like we'll probably make it so that you can automatically just have time lapse be the default thing,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like you have to opt out of time lapses or something so that you just automatically get a full record of all the parts you print on Quinly. Yeah, until you turn it off. People love these articulated models. Like, if you're
Yeah.
gonna be making something to sell, I mean, articulate it. It seems is the way to go.
Yeah, and you can see it's like interspersed, like after it's finished, obviously it's showing the human removing it. But with Quinlay, you would actually have it, the real-time removal that is the second scene of this video is automatically recorded for you. So you basically
Mhm.
have to do nothing other than post it, which I really like, because recording stuff is a huge pain usually. Like you have to keep the camera lined up and all of that stuff. So yeah, you can kind of go seamless from a time lapse print to the part being removed.
Yeah, like this is almost like a full-time job. If you want to run like a successful 3D printing social media, like Filament Stories is pretty new, but they've been growing very quickly because whoever's running it pumps out a ton of content, and it seriously is like a full-time job. Um, Even if it's just printing parts and playing with them, it's a lot of work to set it up and make sure it's right. And you surely don't see all like the fails that go on and all that behind the scenes too. So, if like as most of you guys are trying to like run a small business, using 3D printed products as part of your small business, you don't have time to also be like the only marketing person in your small company. So, um, as much as we can help to reduce that workload, it's going to help everyone. And I'm surely going to start using this on my own 3D printer too.
Yeah, I think, okay, TikTok is having fun.
Oh, here we go. This is tons of time lapses.
Actually, so maybe it's a good time to talk about like what makes a good time lapse. So obviously this everyone's using this seamless mode where you can tell the nozzle to move out of the frame for the picture. So that's why we are adding it in the first update right away, because everyone, it's what's popular. It looks much better than when the printer is like moving around like this, because you can't really see the product being printed, and this just looks like magic. Um, so what he has, which I think is good, is that he moves the nozzle out of the way, but then also the lighting is really good in this video as well. And I'll show you exactly how he's done it. But he has a light behind the camera on the object, and then there's also a backlight in the video. So he's using like the most kind of basic but effective lighting setup you can get, like a key light, and also it's serving as a backlight. And then the object itself is very well lit, and it's separated from the background. You can see the background is really, really dark.
And the build plate is like completely like black as well.
Yeah. Oh, hey, it's a castle we printed.
It's this model. We know this one.
The other thing that I noticed a lot of people do is they add a slight zoom effect, which is super easy to do,
Oh yeah,
in
like a pan or a
post-production.
zoom.
Yeah, I'm not sure why people do that, but it seems to be, really effective.
But almost I've seen time lapses that can only have been taken with like a moving camera.
Those are the best, but those are really hard to set up.
Yeah, like
Like,
you actually have to put your camera on a mount that slowly moves.
you need specialized equipment to do that.
Yeah.
Let's see if he has any other ones.
See, it looks like a lot of this could almost be automated, you know? Like you don't really need anything more than the time lapse and I guess a thumbnail, right? And then maybe a rip RIP text overlay
Yeah, and this
sometimes.
takes like 5 seconds to do when you're doing in TikTok. If you're just adding text, you do it in the app itself.
Mm.
So yeah, like this entire post, I mean, it got 9,000 views. It's basically what would be outputted from the auto time lapse in Quinly. Yeah, this one has 300. Wait, what?
What's a fail time lapse?
This one has 386,000 views. Right, like,
There's a layer shift.
yeah,
Guy needs Quinly vision.
looks like a partial nozzle plug. Probably the filament got caught on something. The other thing that's really good, that he doesn't have in his videos, but we kind of show in the ball spot video, is if you have something in the background, like even just a clock or something that kind of moves in real time, like here we have the sun and the cars speeding past, that also adds a lot of like interest to the shot because people have short attention spans and they'll want to be looking around, uh, you know,
It's
while
like the
something's going on.
psychology of like 3D printed time lapse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where are you gonna find this kind of talk, eh?
I mean,
Except for 3D Q chats.
right, exactly. I mean, it's like what's popular, right? Like here too.
You see in these videos, he's got like there's something cool or weird in the background, just in
And
case your attention span is just like 5 seconds long instead of 10,
yeah,
you're gonna get like distracted by the Sour Patch Kid.
yeah, and this got 100,000 views. So like you can get like very, very effective marketing quickly just with time lapses.
Do you know if this guy actually sells anything, or does he just make
Yeah, he does. Yeah, I think
cool
he helped
videos?
3D printing nerd with his farm.
I see.
Yeah.
Yes, that's his point of space. Yeah, this guy.
Yeah. Yeah, so you'll be able to get these pretty easily now. Well, if you leave it enabled, you'll get one of these with every single job that you print. And if you think it looks good, you can just throw it up. And part of the game with TikTok, especially, but also Instagram Reels, is just to put out as much content as you can and see what sticks because the algorithms are so random sometimes. They'll just start promoting one of your videos and then the process of making that much content to put out is really difficult. But if you can just, TikTok is mostly like minimal effort content, and we want to make time lapses be minimal effort. So
You want everything to be
yeah,
minimal
you
effort.
want everything to be minimal effort, really. But um, yeah, in order to get over that hurdle of making a ton of content without taking up a lot of your time, um, you can use the time lapse history in Quinly and just upload it directly from there. Yeah, he's got a lot of them.
Like this is so much work has gone into this TikTok channel, and it's obviously successful. Um, but hopefully there doesn't need to be that much work in the future. Because we know how annoying it is to set up time lapses.
Yeah, it is. It's very.
So maybe if we can think about other ways that you'd use a time lapse. Now that Quinly Vision is something that we're working on, one of the things that we're thinking of using time lapses for in Quinly Vision is finding out the exact point at which your print failed, um, and using it as almost like a quality control tool. Like say, oh, when the print gets to this feature, like when it's trying to do this overhang, it always falls off the bed. You have to like you might notice like, okay, I need to change my slicing, or I need to change my orientation, or something like that. Um, and it might be very hard to figure out without a time lapse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Should we show that
Do we? I guess we do have one. Yeah, we can show it.
DIY?
Um, oh, not that one. We'll save that one for later, I think.
Okay.
We'll save that one.
Yeah, so I guess the other purpose is internal use and analysis of your own prints, quality control. Like, actually, a few people are asking about this. So, would this be useful for print monitoring or Quinly Vision? Was one of the questions we got on Discord. And the answer is yes, because you get to actually this is the main reason we started working on time lapses initially, or been thinking about it, is for the purpose of using for quality control, because you want to see if something goes wrong. You know, you might be doing like a dozen or 2 dozen parts overnight or over the course of a day. Like with Quinly, you shouldn't really be looking at your printer very often. So having some way of going back and finding out what went wrong if a model fails is really important. And to do that, you'll have this time-lapse history that you can go and identify the part that's failed and go and scrub and see exactly how it's failed. And now when Quinly Vision comes out, that'll obviously tie together, where not only will you be able to scrub back to see for yourself where it failed, but you can see what Quinly Vision was detecting, um, when it warned you that a fail had started happening. And you can go back and see, was there something earlier in the print or design feature of the print that actually caused this fail that was detected. Because it's important for quality control purposes, but it's also important for learning. And since you're not at your printer all the time anymore, you need to have some way of going back to see what went wrong.
Yeah, and I guess another thing that could be almost automated is like say we have one of the features that we plan on doing in Quinly Pro eventually is like integration with Etsy or other online fulfillment solutions. So something that could be automatically done is when an order is completed, that time lapse gets automatically like added to whatever we're shipping to the customer, right? So maybe when someone's order is finished, you have a time lapse that you can also send to them as soon as the order is finished, so that they can see, oh yeah, there's my part, there's my product.
Yeah, I think especially since Etsy and well, people who 3D print products, it tends to be a much more like they're fulfilling a niche of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
And so, or they're making unique products, or like I know Bruce Cooper sells like nameplates. And wouldn't it be so cool that you order a custom nameplate, and right before your order ships, you get a time lapse like with your shipment confirmation that shows how your nameplate was made,
Yeah.
in a time lapse form, and it looks really cool.
Yeah, well, that's also something like I used to do like 3D printing for people on Craigslist, and one thing that I offered was like I will send you a picture of the print before you can pick it up, so like you can check it out and see if there's anything you would change on it. And this is kind of like that, but just better. Like you get a whole time lapse of it, so people are going to be interested in them. In Quinly we'll also have the option of just adding that snapshot, which is just a photo of the finished part.
Yeah, so here you could just send the photo if you're, I don't know, if you didn't want to store a ton of time lapses. But the other thing that you can do with the photos and the time lapses is when you give them to your customer, you can ask them to share it. And so they already have like a ready-made video of their product that you printed ready to share. And it's almost no effort on their part. And you have like a very high quality video that you can put out.
Yeah, so getting your own customers to, I guess, show off your products and giving them stuff that is easy to show. Uh, yeah, it's a very good way of just spreading awareness of your products and your brand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Jack joined a bit late, but this is the time-lapse UI that we're uh working on right now. Um, you can set it for every job, and you can tell it what type of time lapse to do, whether to record the real-time removal, and whether to take a photo. And the photo, yeah, the photo can be used for marketing purposes too, to send to the customer, but it's also really good for QC, because if you print 100 pieces, you can go through the photos really quickly and understand, you know, are you getting a lot of variance between your parts, or are you maybe getting parts off of this one machine are looking slightly different than off of this other machine. Um, and with Quinly Pro, that tags come into play. So like, you know, do machines tagged with orange PLA print this part differently than machines tagged with red PLA or something like that.
Yeah, like people don't know about these tags yet. Like this is the first
Oh
we've
yeah,
talked about it.
this is what they look like. So this is the other part of the UI, I guess. And this is for multi-printer setups and farm setups. I actually have a video of it working that I'll show, but you can assign every job a set of tags. And then these tags, I think we talked about it last stream, right? These tags you can use to filter what printers the jobs get sent to. And it's also really good for tracking because you can filter like your past jobs by what filament they were printed in. And then now you could do, you know, filter past jobs by what filament they were printed in, and then look at all the snapshots or look at all the time lapses of this filament and see, you know, is this filament performing worse than I'm expecting to?
So just looking at the first one here in the job, it says Ender 3 PLA orange. So then, assuming this is in a multi-printer setup, any printer with that matches Ender 3 has PLA loaded and has orange PLA loaded. Only printers that fit all those three requirements will print this part.
Yeah.
Right, and then no other printer will be able to accept the part.
Yeah. If you want, if you don't care about the color, for example, there's a tag called any color.
Yeah.
So if you were to assign that, then it would go to any Ender 3 with PLA. Yeah, so you can like set up some really complex scheduling to be taken care of for you just with a couple of clicks, just adding these tags. Let me show the video. I mean, the video is more interesting because it's actually this has actually been built. I'm showing a mock-up right now, but we do have a video of it working.
Oh, there's the Discord over on that screen.
Jack says, I know about the tags.
Yeah, well, some of you check the Discord and some.
Well, I posted it in like the beta channel, but not very many people are in that particular, like in that.
Some of you are in like super secret groups that.
Yeah, super secret beta channel.
Well, you have to sign up for the beta. This is what you get when you sign up for Quinly betas. You get sneak peeks on our cool new things.
Well, I mean, this was designed in accordance with how people in the beta wanted it to work. So,
true. You also get to influence your final product.
You also get to decide how this stuff looks. How do I make this so I'm not like leaking information? Okay, this should be fine. They'll be very careful. Can they see this? Oh yeah, okay.
Yep.
So this is it's actually implemented. So you can add tags to individual jobs, or you can add tags to all jobs at the top there. You can search for tags, and you can change their color as well. And you can edit them, you can delete them.
Oh, here's another fun one. You should have an automatic thing that reads if it matches a color. If a text matches a color, it'll automatically color the tag as a color. Sorry, Max.
No. We're limiting it to start with. It's limited to 28 colors, and then you'll be able to enter custom colors later. Yeah, but yeah, you can. These tags are custom too, so you can see Max combine the material and color here, because I guess for him that made more sense. But you don't have to do that. You can split them out, and you can create completely custom tags as well. So actually, what he's demonstrating here, these are all completely custom tags. He's just generating new ones. So if you wanted to say like, oh, only send this to the printer tagged printer1 so that it doesn't get dispatched to any other printer, you can do that. It's pretty powerful. It's very cool. I think it'll be a lot of fun to use when you have more than one printer, because it will just make managing things way easier. You don't have to think about, all you have to think about is, I want this part to be printed like this, and then the Quinly will route it correctly to the printer that's set up for that part. And if there are no printers set up for that part, you'll see that those jobs are currently not compatible with any machine, which will tell you, okay, you need to set up a printer to get this queue done.
Well, this is how we used to have our Quinly, like Quinly Pro, like a year ago, used to have, you could select the material type
Yeah.
whenever you sent a job. But the material type, sometimes people didn't want the color or material type. They actually wanted to set the printer number. And so like they'd have a list of colors, but the colors would be printer 1, printer 2, printer 3.
Yeah.
And so this tag feature is like, what we've learned is people don't want color. They just want tags. They want colors, they want printer type, they want nozzle diameter, they want everything. So this can handle it all.
Jack says he saw it when I sent it to him in a DM. So that's an even more exclusive preview.
Yeah, Jack
Sending
gets
it
special treatment.
directly via DM. Yeah. But yeah, this is going to be super powerful because you can literally classify it any way you want beyond just the material color and printer type. You could tie, if you have multiple parts for a single client, you could tie all of those together with a tag, and set up like a couple of printers for them to print on. You can set up tags for different nozzle diameters and set up your printers to have different nozzle diameters.
You'd also probably have printers labeled as production or R&D.
Yeah.
So if you have a test cheat code, you can send it to an R&D printer, production cheat code to send it to production printers.
That's a good point. Yeah, it's very, very powerful. And
You'd have tags like America, Panama, or whatever, wherever your printers are, and it would, because it's Quinly Pro, you can actually do that.
yeah. And then being able to filter, like this is later in Quinly Pro, but being able to filter your time lapses that you've taken by what the jobs were tagged with.
I see, yeah.
Yeah. So that way you can, like, if you're like, oh, I need to post a red time lapse to TikTok today, you can filter it by what time lapses do you have that were printed in red filament.
I hope I never wake up thinking, oh, I need to post a red TikTok.
Well, like if you're using this to generate a ton of content and you find for some reason that your like red prints do 10% better when you post them, then you might want to think about that kind of stuff. But this is the kind of thing that no one has time to do right now because it's just too much of a hassle to set it up. So yeah, once this is implemented, it'll make things way easier. Yeah, so should we do the quick lighting tutorial, or I guess we could
How
show
to
it.
light your printer?
Well, we could show it here too, actually, maybe instead of getting too complicated. I think this is probably the perfect example
Yeah.
of, this is probably like the best example of a time lapse you can do. So there's like there's like one thing you have to, or a couple things you have to remember for photography to make a product look nice. Usually there's a backlight, sometimes called a hair light if you're doing portrait photography. That light sits behind your printer and behind your product. So in this case, it's this really bright blue light that you can see back here. And then you kind of have your, ambient / directional light, which is just what's lighting the room, what's doing the general lighting for the printer. And what that can do, So actually, it's interesting here. I was gonna say, for that ambient light, you usually want to use a window or something like that, and you can actually see that in this time lapse, you can kind of see that he's got the printer stationed directly across from a window because you can see like the sun moving across. You
Oh
see
yeah, look at
that?
that.
So
This is like
he's
Sherlock Holmes stuff here.
yeah, well, he set it up like the best way that you can. So you have like usually a window that provides a really nice bright ambient light pointing at your printer. And then between your subject and the window, you want to have the camera. So the window is behind the camera, pointed at the printer. And then behind your object, or off to the side and behind, you have the hair light or the key light. And what that does is it provides like a really nice kind of, it's hard to see on this, but it provides like a bit of a like a bright edge to your object. If you ever
That's that Fresnel stuff.
mm,
Fresnel.
Fresnel,
I like to say Fresnel, though it's just a
kind
good
of.
word.
It's like, see how this clock has this like really bright highlight here, and then on his shoulders there's like this white highlight. It's coming from this backlight. And that's like, I don't know why that makes things look good, but pretty much all photography has that kind of thing. Like if you ever look at watch photography,
Mhm.
it's usually really dark and then like the watch is lit up and then there's these really bright highlights coming kind of at the edges of the watch and
Mm.
behind the watch. Um, the other really nice thing that they've got going on here is the little clock in the background. Like uh, I don't know, I always see like having some kind of reference frame for time for like how it's being built up can be really helpful for people who don't know very much about 3D printing. And I would wager anyone that's buying stuff that's 3D printed from a store, from like an Etsy shop, probably doesn't have a printer or doesn't have like a super experienced understanding of how printers work. So if you're going to use this to advertise to your customers or to build customer engagement, it's good to kind of give them some kind of, it's good to give them a bit of a reference for how long this is taking or how this is being built.
Yeah, like especially if you're printing really big parts, people might be surprised, like, oh, this person spent like 12 hours printing my thing. It's not like they just clicked a button and there it is.
I mean,
Well, that's how it is, but
it kind
like
of
it
is.
took 12 hours to get there though,
Yeah.
and so people might not realize, or maybe people already know that 3D printing takes a while, but um, just having the clock in the background, that does help. Or even like what we had was our window with the day and night cycle visible. Um, that could be a way to do it too.
Yeah.
How would that work? I guess your window would be your key light or your hair
That's how
light.
we used it. Yeah. The window was our backlight. And then you can actually see this shadow is from like an LED light that we pointed at the printer. That's why it was
Like
still
this thing.
lit during night.
We have an LED light.
Yeah.
This is it.
You can see that there's an LED light kind of behind the camera pointed at the printer. And then yeah, during the day this provided key light. Although this entire scene is so bright, it's not very noticeable, but it is super noticeable in dark scenes. Um,
Oh, there's our Prusa. Our Prusa time lapse has that backlight too.
yeah,
This is in the very beginnings of our time lapse days.
yeah, and it could have been better. Like there's a little bit of light reflecting from behind, which is always good. The other thing that's really popular these days, and I think it maybe it's because color attracts a lot of attention, but you'll see this in movies and stuff all the time where that backlight is also usually a colored light.
Mm.
So going back to TikTok, they're using this blue light, and I think
It's
even
probably like LED strips.
it's probably an LED strip. But even what was his name?
Oh, you could do it with like a really slow RGB cycle, so
It'd be really fast.
but you like set it so it changes like over the course of 2 hours or something.
That's true. Like here, it's Boy Space is using a blue light as a background. Jack, let's see your time lapses. Send us a link, we'll watch.
Is it on your YouTube channel?
Oh, this guy does it with a phone. That seems so complicated. Okay, that does not seem ideal.
Easy.
You
All
have
done
to
with an old headset.
dedicate a whole phone to it.
Oh, so this guy's using the actual
The
trigger
j-
button thing.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, so you don't need to do any of that with Quinly.
No, we'll make it very, very easy to post online as well. Um, you can kind of tell when you're looking at these too, like which ones kind of stand out more, and usually the ones with the best lighting. Um, here's another example. Oh, like they don't have the light all the way behind, it's more like from the side, but it does kind of give you these highlights that just make the product stand out from the background.
Yeah. Yeah, and sometimes just having a reflection just makes your prints look better. Like whenever you try to show someone like a first layer, you have to get the angle just right so that it reflects.
Yeah, like this one too.
That's a ton of support material for
I'm
a
pretty,
Bulbasaur.
yeah, I'm pretty sure you don't print this with support. But it doesn't matter. It looks cool and it got 32,000 likes.
See, the more I watch this, the more I think we could easily have like a good TikTok. As soon as we get this time lapse
As
thing
soon as
working,
we get this working, we'll just make it automatically post every print that we do.
yeah, we just need to set up a time lapse, or we need to set up an auto slicer to automatically download like the most popular file from printables, and then
That's Jack's.
Okay.
oh,
I'll give it to you on Discord.
Yeah, send it to us on Discord.
Steph's showing us the
Jack, send us your
Jack's
channel on
time
Discord.
lapse.
We'll see how your lighting is.
Yeah, he's got a couple here that are pretty funny.
Okay,
Okay.
here's another one.
It's a classic dragon.
So you see how like this is mostly front lit, but the important part is all of these highlights. Otherwise the black would just look really boring.
Well, there was that group in the other one that was, I think, quite poorly lit. If we can see.
Earlier.
Yeah, like the one on the left.
Oh yeah, like yeah, exactly. Like
So-
this doesn't look very good
So
because
this is maybe a bad time lapse.
Yeah.
Sorry, Zerwix.
it's very hard to see anything.
And I guess it's also way too small of a print.
It's just missing the front light because he actually has the backlight there, but obviously if the front's not lit, you won't be able to see anything.
Yeah, and just his hot end has like a cool looking fan trap too.
So check on Discord.
Oh, it's that.
Okay. Ooh, okay.
You print this one, Jack?
This one's good. The white background is reflecting a lot of light from behind. I guess that's another thing. You can get away with just having a white background because any light pointed at your printer is gonna bounce back. This is a really nice time lapse.
Shout out to Jack's Instagram account.
Yeah, 3D World Official.
That's a very cool filament. It like transitions from red to black and back.
That's super cool, yeah.
Jack, does that thing just go back from black and red, or does it is it like a rainbow kind of thing? It's an interesting filament.
This looks really good. It's like he's got the time in the back too, which is important.
Yeah.
He's got
But
a
you have
cool
like a
color.
real alarm clock. Like
Yeah,
those don't exist.
it's probably like digital Bluetooth somehow.
Oh, so it is just those two colors. That's interesting. Because that's a good way to make your print stand out as well. If you're trying to make a time lapse, like getting one of those unique filaments with either like those toothpaste style filaments with two different materials, one on the either side, or or
The
just
quantum-
rainbow. Yeah,
Quantum? Yeah.
yeah. Because there's I guess so many good time lapses now. You have to make them stand out somehow.
So Jack, when we implement this time lapse feature, you're just gonna post everything to 3D World.
You're gonna have to, otherwise, like it's gonna be the easiest content to produce.
I'm logging into your account.
Sure. Shout out to Layership 3D, my account.
Let's see. Yeah, so this one probably wouldn't do as well as the Marvel one. But it's still good. Like people still are interested to see how things are built.
Yeah,
I'd be curious to
Yeah,
know the
that's a
views.
fast time lapse.
Yeah, it is.
Because it like fast time lapse actually shows the printing, whereas the other one just kind of shows, ooh, 3D printers are magic. It just builds a print out of thin air.
Yeah, but I think like most people, you'd be unfortunately like most people just want to see magic.
Yeah,
I mean, not unfortunately, but I
it's just
think
how.
most people don't care, that the nozzle moves around. They just want to see the part being made,
Yeah,
like some kind of replicator. Scroll down, that's the good ones. Godzilla, do that one. Okay, there was a good. Oh, it isn't a time lapse. Oh, okay. Why are you ranking us with these?
maybe it turns into a time lapse.
No, I'm pretty sure you said it's not a time lapse.
Oh, it's a thin first layer.
Just making us watch. I want to see some time lapses. Okay, this one's a good one. The reflective filaments are good too because you don't have to worry about lighting. You get those highlights automatically, basically.
It's a lot of info. I don't want to like randomly comment on everyone's print, but
That's
like
criticizing their prints.
I know.
It looks cool.
I can't help myself.
He's got the clock in the background, and also the filament spool rotating is always fun.
Oh, actually, you see a little bit of a defect. So people sometimes ask, oh, does this seamless time lapse cause print issues? The very tip of the spire, you can see some stringiness that had to occur because the nozzle was traveling back and forth, putting down like a tiny little dot of plastic right at the tip, like right here.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was like,
Unfortunately, you
yeah.
can't scrub on
Oh,
Instagram.
too bad.
There.
Yeah. So a little bit of weirdness going on at the very, very top.
Cool. Is there anything else? Let's look at some of the other questions. So, yeah, so we got a bunch of questions from Discord, and if anyone has ideas or questions, let us know in the chat. So people are asking, would options be similar to Octolapse but also more robust? So we're doing like the most kind of the clean time lapse that Octolapse can do, and you can set where the nozzle will go. And then just a regular time lapse that does it at a set height interval. That both of those they're tweaked a little bit. Both of those are made such that you see like the print grows at a very consistent rate. Because one of the things you'll see with some time lapses is if you have a big layer and then it gets really thin at the top, it'll be build really slowly at the beginning and then start speeding up towards the top, which makes it not so good for QC because if you have small layers, then you're gonna miss more of your print at a time.
Yeah, well, that's like what would happen if you print per 30 seconds or per time rather than per layer. Because when you print per layer, you get a equal space between each layer, which is kind of how our time lapses are going to look.
Yeah. Someone asked also, what about processor overhead? So we're trying to make it as like not intensive at all on the processor. You can already stream video across the whole print, like when you're looking at it in the UI, and we're timing everything so that it doesn't affect the processing of your G code or anything like that. We're really trying to order. I mean, this is kind of technical, but we're working on ordering like when photos are taken and saved and when stuff is stitched into a time lapse so that it won't impact the actual printing.
So a nice thing about Quinly is I guess we get these heating and cooling cycles with not much going on. That's probably a good time to be doing like video rendering and stuff like that.
Well, we're even looking at, because eventually we want to have like a live scrubber that you can scrub back from the current time. And so we're looking at how that might be done as well, because if you had to wait to the end of the print to see the time lapse, it can you know, some prints take hours and hours, and you might want to inspect something that's going wrong partway through your print.
Yeah.
Could content created be stored and then associated with a specific print? Yeah, that's exactly how it'll work. And by extension, if you have tags, those tags will kind of apply to the way the time lapse is stored. So you can search through your print history and then with the tags, and then find the actual prints that were or find the time lapses associated with those prints.
Storing a full video. It's not even a time lapse, a full real-time video of the entire print. Seems a bit like a lot of video. I guess you could do it.
Maybe we could add something where you can customize it and have certain segments be a full video, but if you're recording video for your prints, the Pi will run out of space very quickly unless you're storing them in like the cloud drive or something like that. In which case you'd have to make sure your internet connection is quite good. I suppose, I mean, probably the easiest way to get a video is to open up, like the Quinly UI, go into the live stream and then screen record from a separate computer.
Yeah, you could do that.
That would be the best way to do it.
Because then you don't have to limit, like you don't run into the limit of how many gigs you have on the Pi.
Yeah. But that being said, you know, with the time lapse, you can, I mean, if you're thinking about this for a customer, then you could do, like, I think a time lapse would suffice, because I doubt that a customer is going to look at like a 4-hour video of a print being done.
Yeah.
They would probably want something less than 10 seconds, like on the shipment notification or something. File management print features. Somebody asked how to organize, store, export, and upload to the cloud. So at the moment, it will be stored locally with the first update, and then with stuff like Pro, we'll look at cloud storage or storing it off the Pi somewhere. Can we save a snapshot from the time lapse to a G-code file in the list of files? So this is a question about quality control.
To a G-code file.
So I think it would be that in your file list, you would actually have a real picture.
Oh, okay, so you get a thumbnail, so it's like benchy.gcode, and there's a picture of a benchy that you printed using that G-code.
Yeah.
That could be interesting.
I think that's a good feature, because then you could have, like, if you have multiple users, for example, you could have, like, this G-code, here's the reference image, this is how it should look. And then if someone else prints that G-code and they don't get that result, they'll know, okay, maybe I have to reject this product.
Well, it's interesting too, also, if you have like a ton of like products and maybe the naming convention or whatever makes it hard to see what actually is the print that you want.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just having an image of the part sometimes might be easier than looking through all the names and trying to pick out the name.
Yeah, that's true. You can tell the color instantly and what it is.
Yeah.
That's probably a good idea. Also, like, just as a reference, because if different people are printing and packing, the people who are packing could go and see the G-code history of that printer and see what the parts actually look like that they need to pack.
Right. Oh yeah, and I guess if you're doing orders for someone, you could tag their order with like an order number or something, and you'd know, like, these are the parts that were printed for this order, and you can, you know, even if you have a bin full of like 50 parts, you'll be able to say, okay, this part, and this part were part of this order, so take those out.
Mm-hmm. This is exactly what they looked like too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Can we compare multiple time lapses of the same G-code to check for variations in production? So I think, well, you can, in Pro, you'd be able to filter it by tag. And so I guess you would filter it that way and then look for similar G codes. If you had like 100 prints in a single print job, you'd be able to compare those sequentially. And then I guess if you wanted to do like a line by line, like side by side comparison, I would probably just use a video editing program to do that. It's
I
like,
think at that point I would just get the prints and look at them. Because having to do
yeah,
like 15 time lapses all next to each other,
it'd
I
be
don't know
more,
how helpful that would actually be.
it'd be useful if you were using Quinly Vision, but setup for that for a human to do would, I think, would take too long.
Yeah. It'd be cool to look at though, just like a grid of like 100 or 10 by 10, all the same time lapse, but like slightly different. Maybe you have like different lighting conditions.
I wonder what that would be for.
I don't know what you'd use it for. It would
Yeah.
just look cool.
Yeah, it would look cool. We'll defer to Adobe Premiere for that.
Yeah.
What other questions were there? I think that's pretty much it. Maybe to reiterate, so the reason we're looking at time lapses and want to integrate it into Quinly is to make it easier to market your prints. And by automating, like these days, in order to market anything, you need a lot of content. And by automating the collection of that content, it makes your job, posting it and marketing it online much easier. And it's basically like your printer ends up creating a lot of the media for you. So it's kind of like what is the line? Your prints sell themselves, basically. Quinly lets your prints sell themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is really cool because I think a lot of us don't like spending a ton of time setting up time lapses when you really just want to be making more and more parts. It can also be good for customer engagement where you can show that you are making the customer's part. They get to learn a little bit about how it was made, and it also builds value because they know that your store is making the parts and that you're the one making a part specifically for them. They get to watch it happen in the time lapse, and so being able to do bulk time lapses easily is makes it very easy to just send the complete time lapse to each customer when their order is ready to ship.
Yeah.
It also gives them something that they can share when talking about your product, which is really good because it's kind of hard to get customers to leave reviews and to like take a photo or a video of the thing that they ordered. And you can't, you can only get so far with if you're doing custom products, you can only get so far with a generic photo of that product. But if, someone in your store named Bob leaves a review with a time lapse of his Bob nameplate being printed, that has a lot more impact than if, you're just advertising out there with the same placeholder text nameplate,
Yeah, it can actually really help, like customers help you grow by posting like, yeah, time lapses of your product, but it's also their product because they ordered it from you. So
yeah, it also helps build excitement for them too, definitely.
Yeah, even before they get the part, they'll get the time lapse saying like, hey, your order's complete. It's in the mail.
Yeah.
Here it is. Look at it. Check it out. Wow.
Yeah, get excited. Yeah.
Cool. And then I guess, yeah, we have our Quinly UI set up for time lapse now. So that's coming in the next, week or two or whatever. Might take. We hate putting deadlines on things, but
I think it's
coming soon.
at the end of this week.
At the end of this week?
Yeah.
There we go.
It's pretty much done.
So that's going to be exciting. And we hope to see you guys posting some of your Quinly time lapses on the Discord and on Reddit. We're actually thinking of possibly getting our subreddit a little bit more, giving it some love, because a lot of stuff is hidden on our Discord. And
gets buried really quickly.
It gets buried, yeah. So we're thinking maybe if, you know, once this time lapse thing gets going, we could kickstart our subreddit by getting you guys to post some of your time lapses on there.
Yeah, and it'll be super easy because you'll have these time lapses and you can just press a button to post them to Reddit. Which I think is gonna be really cool.
Yeah, we should like automatically post it to Reddit.
Force
Yeah,
post.
you have to opt out.
Yeah, every single one of your prints will be automatically posted to our Reddit and TikTok. That would be evil. Maybe
See,
we should do it randomly.
just for people named Jack.
Yeah, all of Jack will get a special build that uploads. Actually, that's dangerous because it would just, who knows what he's printing.
Yeah, true.
Cool.
He's probably gonna find a way to turn it against us.
That like instantly.
Yeah.
Even the first post is probably, even if he doesn't know
It'll be an accident, but that's just how Jack rolls.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, so look forward to that. Maybe get your one of your printers set up in some ideal lighting conditions like we talked about earlier, in front of a nice bright window and maybe with some kind of backlighting.
Go
And
grab an alarm clock,
yeah,
LED strips, or some cool, you know, interest piece to have in the background moving or doing something.
and yeah, as soon as the update comes out, you guys can instantly start recording time lapses. I mean, it'll start recording them, and then you can post these really nice looking time lapses. So I would get on setting up some kind of cool background
Yeah.
for your printer.
Yeah, I guess that's the thing you can do this week if you're looking for a project. Also get a webcam if you don't have one. We've been talking about webcams on Discord. I think people were asking. Most webcams work great, but if you're gonna do nice time lapses, you might as well get like one of the nicer, like HT webcams, like 720p or something at least.
Well, for TikTok, if you're posting on Instagram and TikTok, because it's on mobile,
Yeah.
doesn't have to be very good resolution.
So like 640, whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe
Oh.
not 480.
Yeah. Hey, Chris.
Hello, Chris.
Let
Maker
us.
Deck.
Oh, Maker Deck.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I thought maybe we'd show that.
just go
The
to
good
this-
use of time lapse live stream.
Sure. Yeah.
Do you want to just? Yeah, and Chris is actually going on in a few minutes on his own live stream, so
Oh, nice.
he's
Awesome.
not
cool.
hanging around. But I said we'll show people
Sure.
what it is.
Yeah, if you're looking for something else to do after this live stream, then check
Yeah.
out Maker Deck.
Yeah, we're a big fan of your stream. It's a super cool idea, and we're gonna try to see if we can get a bunch of people, a bunch of our people to stream to it, because yeah, it's a super cool idea.
And I was
I don't
telling
actually
him
know what Maker
automated.
Deck is. Mine-
And
It's the stream on Twitch where they have like anyone can link up their
Live
printer
streams.
live streams.
Oh, interesting.
I'm pretty
should do
sure
that.
we looked at it.
well, we can pull 'em up.
I don't remember. Maybe I just
Yeah, let me
saw it a long
let me
time
pull
ago.
it up. I'm pretty sure we
Is this
looked at
recent?
like a month
Oh
ago.
yeah,
Oh,
new.
I missed the memo on this.
I swear you looked at it with me. Okay, let's check it out.
Maker Deck.
See, so you can just like,
Oh,
I
yeah,
guess-
I've never seen this. Honestly, haven't.
oh, really?
Yeah.
This is super cool.
Steven's new favorite YouTube channel.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
So these
Twitch.
are all.
I mean Twitch. This is Twitch.
So this guy's collecting, I guess, multiple different live streams happening right now, and then
Yeah, you
streaming
can
them together.
stream to his channel.
I'm surprised there's only one dragon.
Yeah, there should be like all dragons.
I guess, is there a boron printing boron parts or something? Oh, Stealth Burner. That seems like a boron name. Or like a hot end name anyway.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's really cool. We were gonna ask some of our community to print on this and let them know.
Well, maybe we should, can we set one of our printers up?
We could, yeah.
It'd be pretty cool to have an automated printer on a Maker Deck.
Yeah. I think it'd be a great idea.
You know, like pop up when the part release happens, you know?
Just for that part.
Just for part release.
And then go back offline.
Yeah.
That'd be funny.
Is there a maximum of like 8, or does it automatically tile them? Or
I
however
think
many?
it moves.
That's cool.
I think he has a max of 12.
Okay.
I can't remember. I've seen.
It probably says in the FAQ. Yeah, it's probably, or actually, Chris is in the chat, so he can answer. Yeah, it's a super cool concept. I want to get some of our printers on it and some of our customers' printers on it. I think it'd be a great idea. But yeah, I don't. If you were just joining the stream, we were talking about automating the content creation process. As we know, like half of 3D printing things on TikTok are time lapses, and we've manually been setting up time lapses for a while, but uh, it's kind of a hassle. So we've started building it into our software, into our queuing software, to automatically like preset what prints you want time lapses for, and then you can go through your print history and download those time lapses or post them directly to things like Instagram or TikTok. Because yeah, making content these days, like all of these platforms demand so much content, uh, and it's kind of a pain when all you really want to do is run your farm and design more products.
So like hear me out. I could just load up a roll of rainbow filament and then queue up a dragon, an octopus, an articulated slug, an articulated frog, an articulated snake. Click one button and then I get home or like come back the next day and I have like 5 time lapses all ready to post to social media over the next 5 days
Yeah, you would literally have like a week's worth of content
in one click.
with
It's not bad.
a couple clicks.
2 clicks.
Yeah.
Like
Right now it's like, oh, I gotta get the camera set up and like screen record and then pause the print. Yeah,
yeah, it's
I
like
won't have to do that.
additional micro tasks. We hate those.
Yeah,
It's my favorite.
it's actually making me tired just thinking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, let us know if you have any questions. Nice to see you too, Pejliz. Pejliz.
Pezliz?
Pejliz. Please let us
Yeah.
know how to pronounce your name.
Are you guys on our Discord? Are you guys the ones that joined? Or
Yeah.
does MakerDAC?
I would recommend joining if you aren't on there already, because we'll be posting previews about this. Yeah, coming up. Yeah, but I'm excited not to have to set up time lapses.
Yes. Me too. It's like half of what I do some days. It's just time lapses.
It's
It's like,
actually such a pain. And like you get one time lapse because you have to be there. You get one time lapse and then that's good for one day of posts.
yeah. It's a lot of work.
We'll join your Discord too, Chris.
Oh yeah, send us a
Already on it.
send us an invite. Yeah, like I'm not. I need to join.
I might already be in it too. I don't know. I'm not logged in on this computer.
Yeah, MakerDAC's a cool idea.
Yeah, it's awesome. Actually, it gets around the whole point of making content because he's using everyone else to create content for his channel.
Yeah,
It's
true.
another
We're
form
both
of
automating content. Look at that.
automated, yeah, content. It's
I guess
pretty
that's
cool.
why you're here.
Let's see.
See now what we'd almost need is because this is almost what like Quinly Pro could look like when you have multiple printers connected to each other.
Yeah.
This could be your dashboard.
If it's simple, I think we would maybe we could add a little button in our software to just stream to MakerDAC.
That could be fun.
Yeah. Be interesting. We are reworking a lot of the webcam stuff right now too, so
Yeah.
might be interesting.
Cool. I guess we're near the end of our stream today.
Oh,
I
geez,
wish
there's
it was automated.
a lot going on in the background. Okay.
Interesting.
I thought it was, yeah, okay. If it's not automated, that sounds like a hassle, but I hope you guys can make it more automated because yeah, that's what we're trying to do with the time lapses for QC and for putting in your store. I think one thing I should mention actually is these days having little videos on your product pages is also really, really beneficial, especially if you're in a marketplace with a lot of other people.
Oh yeah, like Etsy I think even says like products with videos get twice as many buys or whatever. Like
It's definitely a lot more. They I know on, well, like the largest online retailer, AliExpress and Alibaba,
Mhm.
all of their top, they actually boost products that have video posts.
Oh yeah.
And it's often just a cell phone footage, but I'm going to click on a product that has footage of the real thing being like tested or made
Yeah.
over something where it's like a white background with the background cut out because you don't really know if it's real.
Yeah, even like I think one time I was buying like heat shrink or something from AliExpress, and it was like they just showed their factory that makes the heat shrink, and they were all like proud of their like machine that does the heat shrink. And I was like, you know what? I like that machine too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy your heat shrink.
Yeah, exactly. So now like if you're on Etsy or I think even Amazon can do this in some regions, like if they see, you know, their part being printed right away and like delivered to them, that
Mhm.
could do a lot for promoting your product over others. Because, you know, a lot of other people on these platforms competing with you are just doing drop shipping, so they don't even have the opportunity to show the product being made,
Mm.
especially on things like eBay or Amazon. Oh, they're moving the views around manually. Okay.
So that's when I was like focusing on just one for a little bit, and then you had like the sidebar, like the rest of them.
I don't know if you guys have seen Quinly Vision, but it might be really cool to try and apply it at someday.
Oh, that's a fun one.
I'll show it on stream.
Quinly Vision on like 10 different streams at the same
Yeah,
time.
it can work like that.
Ooh.
Let's.
Everyone who streams to MakerDeck gets Quinly Vision while they're being shown.
That might be
Ooh.
interesting. Because it can do, it's gonna be hard on our server, but
Yeah.
it could do real-time detection on some of it. This is what we're talking about.
We need some more graphics cards.
Yeah. Well, I mean it's pretty lightweight, but I just know I don't know what the computer like pulling in the stream and then restreaming it out what that would take. But yeah, imagine this like applied to all of these. Oh, they're using StreamYard. We looked at StreamYard for interviews. I could definitely see how you could do this.
Oh, I guess that would be like a yeah. Every one of those printers was like a human face.
That's
This would
so
be like a big Zoom
interesting.
meeting, but it's all just printers attending, and there's no humans.
That's the future I want to live in. No humans.
The printers just show up to their own conference, and humans aren't
Yeah,
invited.
rapid TCT. There's no humans allowed. The lights are all off too because printers don't have eyes.
It's just yeah,
Yeah,
lights are off.
yeah. Imagine that would be so cool. We put this on top of this. I don't know. What do you guys think, Chris and Pesleys?
That wire management might look like spaghetti.
Yeah,
Sorry, more unsolicited
it'd be good for testing.
advice. Yeah.
This is cool. Combine forces maybe.
Hmm.
Interesting idea. I don't know. Let us know what you think. Um, yeah, do we have anything else?
News. I guess not really. Not really for today.
No, I
Cool.
think that's pretty much it. It was
Hope you
nice,
guys all the fun stuff.
nice catching you both at the end of the stream. Uh, tune into Maker Deck after this.
Oh, remember to like and subscribe.
Oh yeah, like and subscribe.
Gotta say it.
Join the
Otherwise,
Discord.
Steph will like tell me to say
Remind us.
it.
Yeah.
Nicely.
Were you gonna talk about the review?
Oh, we talked about it at the beginning.
Yeah,
We can
okay.
talk about it again. Or
If you want to do a recap, might be useful.
sure. So for anyone joining late, oh yeah, they're saying people all over the world keeping the stream running 24/7. So with their powers combined, I mean that'd be really cool to have like the detection happening in real time. I'll have to maybe I'll look a bit this weekend on how we might set something like that up. Interesting. Jack will pay for
Okay.
new server.
Oh,
Yeah,
great. Thanks, Jack.
donate his 3090s to us.
Should stream his EZ3. EZ3 stream.
No, instant ban.
Banned. No gatekeeping here.
Yeah, so for those of you joining at the end here, Tom's 3D, Thomas Senladerer, did a review today on his channel. We definitely learned a lot. He took his time with it, and
He was unboxing the Prusa Mark III Quinly kit.
yeah, and there was definitely like we definitely learned a lot about, I guess, a customer going in completely blind, which we don't usually get to see. So that was really interesting. Uh, Definitely showed us some places where like we need to emphasize certain parts of the instructions, or yeah, make them, I don't know, more visible, I guess,
Yeah, like bold and italic.
or
Like
like
sometimes.
extra photos and stuff like that.
Yeah, but also yeah, like little. I guess there were like certain methods for installing parts that like it's actually quite hard to tell how to do it, but there's like a certain trick to like installing a
Yeah.
clip, which, you do it one way, it doesn't work. Maybe you're gonna try it the other way, maybe you don't, but we could just say, hey, like, yeah,
Yeah, it's
do it from the
designed
top, not the bottom.
designed to go this way. Yeah, so that kind of stuff. It's very interesting to see someone like going completely blind into it, because even when we were doing it here, I mean, everyone knows what's going on, so it's hard to do a completely blind
Yeah, like that's
assembly.
one of the biggest challenges of being part of a company and like being so used to your own product is it's really hard to pretend to be someone who doesn't know it at all and to
Mhm.
be like that going in blind because we fill in all the gaps automatically like oh yes like obviously they'll do it this way because that's the way that it should be done
It's
but no one
designed,
told them that.
yeah, it's
Right?
designed to go this way.
I designed the darn part.
Yeah, yeah, I made sure it works this way, but it doesn't, it's not necessarily obvious. Um, but yeah, so that was really interesting to see. And yeah, I think we'll have to update our instructions a little bit.
Mhm.
So that'll be cool. Yeah. And I also want to see, he said he's going to do a full review with a comparison, and I want to see him running it like for a week and
Yeah.
compare it to other methods of automation, because I think that'll probably be the best test he can do.
Yeah, I mean, Quinly running 24/7 versus like a manual printer versus a belt printer, like versus
Yeah.
because he did this automated boron too, which he has a video of. Like, I want to see that back in action.
Yeah.
Get the
How do all of these stand up to like, full week or 2 weeks of printing, just
Mhm.
nonstop?
1,000 hours.
Yeah, 1,000 hours, Steph says.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I think we're done for today. Um, Check out on Twitch, check out MakerDeck, check out Tom's live stream as well. And we'll see you all here next week. It was nice to have everyone in chat again. Um, yeah, and look out for the time-lapse update coming out this week. Get your printers set up, because I want to see the cool time lapses you guys come up with.
Mhm.
All right,
Very cool.
goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for joining.
We'll see you all next week.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.